Okay, today we're going to create a speaker. It's made of 3 individual parts. It's going to be slightly different to this drawing. We're going to simplify it to make it a little bit more easier. We're going to start off by creating one part, which is just going to be the outline of this part, and we're going to copy that into 3 parts, and then we'll add the features on the inside. So we'll start off by going to SolidWorks. We're going to create a new part. Okay. When we come into SolidWorks, we've got features and sketching. These are the 2 toolbars that we're going to use. So features, this turns sketches into 3D parts, or we can do extrusion cuts. And when we go into sketches, this is where we can sketch out our design using lines and dimensioning to start our work. So let's go to sketch first. Now once I've clicked sketch, it's going to ask us which plane we want to start on. I'm going to start with top plane. I'm going to draw in a line, and now you can see when I move the line up until it's horizontal, there's a little yellow box there right next to the pencil that pops up, and that's going to give the line the constraint. That's always going to be horizontal. That's what we want for this line. So if I click, now you can see right next to it there's a little green box, and that means it's locked. It's always going to be horizontal. Now I'm going to want a small line off to the side. We're only doing this roughly just to have the same shape as the design we need. Now I want to add a line from here to here, but see I'm still on the line tool, so I need to exit and then reopen the line tool, click on that outer point, drag, and then click. There we go, and now I can press exit. I've got 3 lines. Now I want a nice arc which goes from that point to that point. So if I go up here to this tool here, if I do the drop down, we've got 3 options, and I'm going to go 3-point arc today. Now if I click on this point and this point, and now I can click the 3rd point, which is where our arc is going to be sitting. Now we've got the outline of our part. Now all we need to do is we need to add some dimensions to these lines. So there's a great tool here which is Smart Dimension. Start by clicking that, and we can add a dimension to this line. All we need to do is hover over it. You can see it's highlighted. If we click it and drag and then click again on the screen, now we have a dimension, and we're going to make this 80 millimeters. Now that I've done that, I need to add in dimension of this line. So if I highlight the line and I drag the dimension away, you can see that this is one form of the dimension, and if I drag it to the side, now we're going to get the length of the line. This is the one we want. Now I'm going to click on the page, and I'm going to make that 50 millimeters. I'm going to repeat the same process on this side. 50 millimeters. Now each of these are dimension the length, but what I need is I need an angle between this line and this line. So if I click the highlighted line, click this line, now it's going to give us this option to add an angle. And for that I'm going to add 110 degrees. Now if I click the other line, click that line, and click on the screen, 110 degrees. Now these lines are all constrained. The only problem now is we've got this arc. So go over the arc, highlight, click the arc, and then click on the page, and then we can make that a 90 millimeter radius. Now this is fully constrained, and we're ready to save our part. So I'm going to click Smart Dimension to exit, click Exit Sketch. Now we have a complete sketch. We can go to the next toolbar, which is our features, and we're going to extrude boss. now that we're extruding that, one thing we need to change here is the dimension. So this is going to tell us how thick this extrusion is going to be. Now our material that we have is going to vary, but at the moment it's 6 millimeters. So I'll press 6 millimeters and press the green tick for OK. Fantastic. Now that we've created this part, we're going to save this in our file and we're going to copy and paste it so we have 3 parts. So we're going to go save, and in your OneDrive you need to create a folder which is going to be your Year 9 woodwork. You need to save all your parts in there, and I'm going to start by calling this part 1 and press save. Now if I go to that file, I've got part 1. Now I want 3 parts identical to start with, so I'm going to go click on that, Control C and Control V and Control V twice. There we go, 1, 2, 3. Now let's just rename that part. So let's call that part 2, part 3. There we go, 1, 2 and 3, done. Now if I go back to SolidWorks, we can start altering this sketch to suit what we need in our design. So this is part 1 still. So in part 1 we're going to need a rectangular cutout for our phone to sit in. To do that, we've got our part here. This is our extrude box. That's this part. It's just here. So if I click down on that, I can see the sketch. If I click on the sketch once, this little box is going to come up. Or if you right click on it, the box still comes up. And there's a little feature here which is edit sketch. So if I click that, our sketch is going to come back. And now we can edit this sketch, can change dimensions if we need to. What we're going to do is we're going to add in a nice rectangle here for our phone to sit. So to get a rectangle in there, we're in the sketch function, we've got rectangles. I can click on the rectangle tool. There's different types of rectangles here, but I'm going to go corner to corner and I'm going to click on there, drag, and then there we go, that's a nice rectangle. Next thing is, like we did last time, we need to add some dimensions. So I'm going to start by, from this line to this line, I'm going to add in a 12 millimeter gap. And that looks nice. And for my phone, I need about 15 millimeters for my phone, so I'll press enter there. And the width of my phone is 75 millimeters, so I'm going to type in 75. Now, this rectangle is sitting off to the side, so I need a dimension from this line to this little point here. So I'll click, there we go, now we've got a dimension, and we're going to add 2.5 millimeters. Now that's right in the center. We've got a full design, it's all done, all dimensioned. I can click here to exit the sketch, or I can click over here and click here. And the cool thing is, we've already done the extrusion, so it's popped up, and that's our part finished. Now, if we want to inspect our part to make sure it looks okay, on your scroller, you can scroll in and out, and even press the scroller down, and then move the mouse, and you can look around the part. Now, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to press save, open up the file, and now that's part 1 done. Now I need to do part 2. Okay. Now we can do the cutouts for part 2. I'll leave this up to you.